Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Donovan.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Kinfire Chronicles.
This is a game designed by Kevin Wilson and Adela Kapuscinski, published by Incredible Dream Games.
It plays from 1 to 4 players and it takes about 45 to 60 minutes per scenario.
Yes, because this is a campaign game where you are going to be heroes trying to save the world or something like that. We're not going to go into spoilers or whatever it's in the story, but you're probably going to try to do something and win scenarios. If that's a spoiler, I'm sorry. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. We have not played the whole campaign, just so you know, because they are long.
Yes.
And we don't have all the time to play all the campaigns. We do our best. This is a review copy of the game, so you know that before you go into watching the whole thing. With all of that out of the way, let's talk about Kinfire Chronicles. Kinfire Chronicles is a campaign game, cooperative game, where you're playing through a campaign. You're playing through a story, you're choosing characters in the beginning, playing those characters, evolving them, going through different hardships to get to the end, to the big finale. In this game, there's 21 scenarios. Not all of them are main scenarios, some are side scenarios. So you don't have to do that like all of them to play through the game. One of the things Kinfire is supposed to do is to be a shorter campaign game. As you said, the playtime on the box is saying 45 to 60 minutes, which is very short for this kind of game. So we'll see if that actually stands or not. The game is driven in like many of these games, story driven and then combat driven. So you are going to read through a story, you're going to take some choices, things are going to happen, and then you're going to go into a combat. And the combat here is a card driven, but also driven by this fate. I think it's called fate, like a fate,
yeah.
a sack with
yes.
things in it.
The fate bag?
Bag! That was the word I was looking for. You'll be drawing these chits out of a bag, which is going to tell you whose turn it is. It might be the enemy's turn, so it might be your turn, it might be my turn. If you're playing with more people, it might be their turn as well. But as a random turn order, when it is your turn, you're going to move and you're going to play an action card. And also these cards are color-coded, so when the other players has their turn, they can then help you with some help cards, supporting the other player, helping them to do different things. You're going to try to do that until you beat the enemies, and then you're going to continue reading the story until the end of the scenario. And then there's going to be some stuff in between. We're not going to talk too much about that. But yeah, that is basically what you're doing in the game. You are going through the story, trying to win combats and see what's happening. For now, we haven't played them all. It's a fail-forward system. So it's not like Gloomhaven or Frosthaven where you have to play the scenario until you win it. You have to be in it to win it, but you don't have to actually win it. You just have to be in it, and then it will fail forward. So you don't have to play like one scenario 60,000 times. That's the overview thing. Let's talk about other stuff, like things you can see with your eyes.
Yes, the artwork is really nice in this game. It has really nice fantasy art, and also the little books. You're going to talk about the rule books, but I also love that in addition to the rules, you also have these cute drawings of the different characters. I feel like the artwork makes me want to get to know the world that Kinfire is set in. The artwork is great. The components are mostly great as well.
Yeah.
I have one little complaint here, because you're using these what you call life trackers.
Yeah, I think that's maybe
the enemies
yes.
are using these. They are rubbish. Now I can't, of course, take this one apart, but this comes apart when I try to lift it. This was actually good.
Yes,
I'm taking the best one.
It's basically this, like it's the worst double things like this. I don't know what it's called. We have seen.
Yes.
So it makes it kind of like
barely hold them apart.
Dexterity
and
game.
It's so annoying because I'm lifting it up to like set the dial, and they fall apart.
Okay. I'm going to say a positive thing,
yes.
which is the coolest thing I have seen, like one of the coolest things I've seen in the game. Because they showed you the lid of the box, but it's also the game board. So
Boom.
They're trying, and we're going to talk more about this, to make a game very simple to set up,
yes.
self-contained. You're opening the box, then you're turning it over, you're putting it out, and then you basically are kind of ready to go. Because when you're playing a scenario, you're going to use the map atlas. I'm not going to open it. You will open it up and you will place it there, and then you basically have the game board.
Yeah.
You place a few cards here, and you have some chits over here, and then you have like the overview, jumping a bit ahead there, but you basically have like the overview and
Player
stuff
aid
like the
here.
player rates in there. I really love this.
Yes, I agree.
I remember, like, this is one of those moments when it's called the Destiny bag.
Destiny!
Yay!
Yes.
It was a bag.
Yeah.
When I opened this up and I understood this is the board, I really loved that.
Yeah.
Let's go from one thing to another. We also have Rulebook.
Yes.
You can put this away. We also have Rulebook in this game. And this game is trying, as I said, to be a light, easy game to get into. And that works pretty good. Because when you're starting the game, you're going to get the Getting Started book. We're just going to have like your tutorial, how to set up, how to assemble the health dials, and then have them fall apart. You are going to like learn to do the setup, and then you're going to open up the next thing, which is the combat. Here you're going to learn the combat. And that is fine when you're learning the things, so that when you get to the different parts, you're learning the different parts. The problem is, if you take like a 1 week break and you go back to play the game, and I'm like, oh, what is that rule again? Okay, it's combat. I'm going to look into combat, but this isn't a rule book. It is like, how does this combat example work? So there is like some things in there that is like rules, but most of it is an example and stuff like that. So some of the rules are hidden in the examples in a way that is not good. So it makes it very simple to get into the game, and it makes it kind of hard to reference back to it later. I would have liked this, plus an actual like an index.
I agree.
Like having a rule reference book, which you could like check in things to see where they was. I would
because
like,
we had some problems with understanding some of the symbols on the cards, because there are some cards in the game,
Yes.
and then we couldn't understand which one of these. It should be in the combat section, right? But I think we found it in the city section, under
like
the market, because then you can buy cards.
Yeah. So what I would have liked was just a sheet with the index.
Yeah.
So it would said Rulebook 1, page 3.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So as far as it now, that's kind of the low point, and it's so weird because we just reviewed Hegemonia, and like the rulebook was the low point there as well.
Yes.
It's kind of weird, like, and even though this one is pretty simple, it's hard, and it's hard to make good rulebooks. I know, but it's possible. So
you can hire him.
I don't know how I would have made a rulebook. Probably not amazing, but probably good. But yeah, play rates. There is some rates like here and there. And most of it is very simple. Like, you don't need a player aid for reading a card.
No.
And like the story part that's what you're gonna do. We're gonna talk more about that soon. But first, this thing you're saying.
Yes, and we have played the game with 2 players. That's the way we prefer to play our story-driven co-op games. And it has taken us about an hour per scenario, including the story part and the battle part or the combat part. I'm super happy about that playtime.
Yeah,
it delivers what it's promising.
Yeah,
with 2 players at least.
And I'm already like, this is the perfect playtime for this game, because this game is a lighter campaign game. It's very nice that it is actually an hour. It says 45. I guess you could do. We did one in 30 minutes, but we died before we had a turn.
That was not the plan. Yes.
So that was very quick. But let's just jump into the actual gameplay stuff. This game really delivers on what it's trying to deliver on with setup and teardown, I would say.
Yes.
With a couple of caveats, but let's talk about like the positive things first. Like, it's very simple to set up. You are putting out this, you're opening the box, flipping the lid over, putting the map atlas in there, and then you are choosing a scenario to play that you have available. Like in these games, you can't just play the end first. You have to like play them in order that you're given these scenario cards. So I'm choosing a scenario, I'm opening the box, and then I take out the cards. I can take out, when I play, I try to not take out the enemies and all of that in the beginning, because I don't know what they are yet. So I'm trying to just take out the cards. And then you are supposed to start playing, but it's a tiny bit harder than that.
Yes, because the cards that are in these little boxes, they are put in these little plastic pockets.
Yeah, just like when you use it for when you play collecting cards.
Yes, like that. So when you take
that's a positive thing.
yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, kind of. But they are for the first off, they're face up, so you can get some minor spoilers or major spoilers. In addition to that, sometimes we have opened it and they have been jumbled around.
Yeah.
And also they are in the wrong order, so you have to sort them as well.
So that's what you said with the face up. Like, that could be just opening it the other way and seeing it face down. But what you meant is basically, as you said, they are reversed. They are the right order face up. But I don't want to see the face when I'm looking at the number I don't want to go to the end of the pack to get to card number 1. So you have to turn everything over, or just take them out face down, and reverse count everything to get it in the right order, which is kind of like a strange overlook in production, because that's, and if that's, let us know if that's only our copy, I don't know, but that was what happened in our copy, which was just made it a tiny bit harder to set up, but I would say like 90% very, very simple.
I agree.
That
and
percentage is just something I made up, but it's like, it's very simple to set up the game.
Yes, and your character box as well. You have some cards, you have some tokens, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's super simple, super fast.
Yes, so that is like a very big positive thing. As most of these kind of games, there's 2 different parts of the scenario. You have the story part and you have the combat card. And the story part is very simple.
Yeah.
You're reading the card, and I said this basically in overview. You start reading card number 1, and then you have some choices.
Yes.
So far, there hasn't been like huge life-changing choices. It's been like, it's like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump over the river or find a longer way around?
Yeah,
That's kind of the thing.
Kind of that things. I feel like they're different enough. Sometimes you have like a choice for which road. Not only like it's obvious you can take the wrong choice, and I think that is cool as well. Like you have to do a little bit of deducing to find out where you should go. And also I think like the story isn't super deep so far, but we haven't played that long into it, so now we're just in the exploring of the world.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what I will say is that some of the choices are kind of like character choices. I don't remember the name of them in the game. It's a character choice.
Yes.
So if you do this thing, it's good for these kind of characters. If you do this thing, it's good for these kind of characters. That is like, it's very simple to gamify. Basically every time, and you, if you are a role player, you might just do the thing that. But then again, like it's saying this is the thing your character wants to do. So, and it's kind of a lighter version of you doing a choice, then reading something else and saying, if you chose this, if you're this character, this happens. And that's kind of a choice they've done, because everything, there's no like storybook. There's no, everything is on the card. So it's made to be simpler. So you kind of like, you're taking away some things to make it simpler, basically.
Yeah.
Because when there was a choice and both our characters were on the same side, we just did that.
Yeah.
We didn't care about what the other thing was. We just wanted to get, because you get a bonus when you get to it.
And I think we both align pretty much in the character choice that the game thought that our character should be, and what we ourselves thought that the character should be. But for example, if you don't know, I want to be an evil dwarf now, that wouldn't align with the choices, for example.
No, and I'm not sure if like so far there hasn't been that kind of choices. Let's talk a bit about the gameplay, because when you get farther in the story, you're going to go to a combat. So then you're going to open up a page in the map atlas. You're going to lay it out on the board. You're going to set up the characters, set up the enemies. There's some enemy boards that tells them what to do and what they do, and then you are going to start playing. And as we said in the overview, you're drawing a chit from a bag, and that can either be a number. And that's going to tell you what enemy and what action is going to do that number. So when there's, for example, 3 enemies and there's numbers up to 12, the setup is going to tell you where to place these numbers. So like the bigger attack is going to be like less probability that it's happening. And then if a character dies, then the other characters are getting those numbers, so they do more attacks.
Yes.
How do you feel about this way of choosing the turn order?
I think it's a cool concept. I think it's new. I haven't seen it done in this way before.
I
It's
agree.
pretty unique. I have some things that I like about it, but I also have something that I dislike. For example, I think it's cool, this game of probability, because that is basically what it is. You can have huge swings in how the game round feels.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of the hero chips or tokens drawn in the beginning, and the game feels really easy.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's almost no of the hero chips left.
Yeah.
And you know that, okay, our asses are going to be kicked now.
Yes.
And the other way around, you can get off from the get-go not getting your actions because the enemies are drawn all the time. But I think it's cool that, let's say that one enemy has an attack for 1, 2, and 3. That's the same action. And they've done that all the times. Now I know that I don't need to be afraid of them doing that action. I think that is a cool thing.
I like most of it. Like it makes the game lighter because it makes the game more random, basically. I am very happy that it's then a fail-forward system, so that it's not like, oh, we were unlucky again, had to try again. We were unlucky again, had to try again. There was one scenario, as I noted earlier, we didn't have a turn.
No.
We lost before it was anyone's turn. We had done some things in the story which made us lose some health.
Yeah.
So that we didn't have a lot of health when we started the scenario or the combat. And then we just died before any of us got to do anything. Yep. And that was very underwhelming.
Yes.
But it only took half an hour to play that scenario. And let's talk a bit about what you actually do, the gameplay of the game. It's card driven, as I said. You are moving and you're playing a card. Let's talk about the playing of cards first. There's going to be attack cards. There's going to be some special powers. Each hero has their own special power they can use once. And then when they're kind of reset, they get it back. And most of the cards so far, we haven't like leveled up and gotten loads of new cards. Most of them are kind of simple. Like it's not very awesome effects. It's basically just like variations of attacking or helping the other player. Do you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. I think the color coding is clever because you use your deck for skill checks as well. Like you have to draw 3 red cards to make this happen. For example, I think that is cool. And also, we haven't done a lot of deck building yet, but you can do that. But as you said, also the cards so far has been like a ranged attack versus a melee, or this amount of damage, or this amount of damage to more people. And also, I think it's cool that you have these support cards as well. You can set yourself in a situation because when you are empty of action cards in your hand, you get to like redraw. Like
you have to
redraw. So you can be a situation where you don't want to play your last action card because you have good cards there that you want to not throw away.
Yeah.
Or in the opposite effect, that you have too many action cards. Everything is bad, but I can't do anything about it because I need to use them to refresh my hand.
So it's a lighter hand management stuff. You can basically skip your turn to discard a card. There's some ways to mitigate it. I do actually like this system quite a bit, but just know that like as everything here is kind of more luck-based and tactical than many other games in this genre, I would say. Like you don't have the dice, you don't have that, but it's kind of, it feels tactical. The cards, so I really like the random turn order that was kind of, so you can be very unlucky or very lucky, but the card play I actually really liked quite a bit. And because you kind of like, it's light, it's not like, oh, what do I want to do now? You don't get the AP you can get, for example, in Gloomhaven. When it's my turn, it's probably going to be very simple. I'm going to move there, I'm going to attack that, boom, and it's done. Like it's not a hard thing. There's also this really cool shield mechanism where you have these shield cards in your hand, and let's say I have 3 shield cards, my character starts with 3 shield cards, and when I get attacked, I take 3 less damage, and then I discard 1 shield card. So next time I get attacked, I lose 2. And I want to like use, so I want to reset so I get the shields back because you then get back to your maximum amount. So there are, like this is kind of like the most strategic and management part of the game, and I really enjoy. Even though it's lighter, I really like these parts of the game.
I agree.
You said like basically deck building. When you can level up, you get new cards. It's kind of like a lighter deck building. There are a cool thing in this game, and if you don't want to look at any components in the game before you play the game, you don't want to know anything, mute it for this video for the next 20 seconds. In this game, there is booster packs.
Yay!
So it's random, like it's semi-random because you have like. I'm pretty sure all the games have the same booster packs.
Yeah.
So every game have the same cards, but then you have a couple. You have bronze, you have silver, you have gold packs. So when you open a bronze pack, that means that you and I, when we play, can get a different set of cards in the order than other players. And I really enjoy that feeling. It's like a weird little thing. I really like it. We've seen that also now in Dragon Eclipse. That's also gonna have booster packs. It's kind of like a little nod to these TCGs, which I really enjoy.
Cool.
So let's talk about the weight and who is this game for.
This is a lighter, maybe the lightest campaign game in like this genre that we've played. And I think that it is a much needed addition to the genre in general. There are nice small character driven decisions. There are short but interesting story-like bits to play and combats to be had. And if you're looking for a way into a co-op story-driven game, this might be a nice starting point.
Yes, I agree. It basically feels kind of like a lighter Oathsworn. Because you have like the story, and then you have the boss battle. One thing, I'm going to say it now because it's our channel and I can do things the way I want. Another thing that is kind of, and I had the same feeling Oathsworn and the same feeling in Aeon Trespass Odyssey, the little we played of that, with these kind of boss battlers, and here as well the maps are so small, so it feels like the thing you're doing is moving towards the boss and attacking. Like that is the thing you're doing. So it feels a bit lighter here than in the other games, so just know that when you get into it. I like the story more than I like the combat, but I like the combat system. So, yes, I think this is a great introduction campaign game.
Yeah, or if you're like us, that want to play a lot of campaign games, but you have little time. This is one that you maybe actually can finish.
Yes, so let's go into final thoughts. But before that, if you are new to the channel and you enjoy what we do here, then you can help us out in a very big way by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
And now, final thoughts time for Kinfire Chronicles Night's Fall.
I like Kinfire Chronicles. I really do. I think that if we didn't have all these other campaign games that I wanted to finish, I would like to finish this one. I don't think we're going to finish this one because there are so many others, but I like the thought of that. I like how simple it is to get into. I like how fast it is to play, and the tactical decisions and the luck. It has eliminated the dice of taking some luck out, but then other type of luck in. Yes. And I think as long as you know that's what you're getting into, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I'm super happy about the game being that way, and I think that it pains me a little to not finish it because I want to explore the world more. But then again, it hasn't gripped me the most story-wise, and as you said, sometimes the combat feels a little. I move one space, hit an enemy, and I move back if able. And yeah, so there's a lot of positive things, but it's not a perfect co-op game, campaign game for me. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I'm going to say that I think this might be one we could finish because it's so simple to play. True. Even though it's a little bit hard to get into the rules again because of how the rulebooks are structured, I think we could very easily take this up on the table again and spend like half an hour to understand how everything works and just get going.
Yes.
And I think like if we played like an hour every week, we could finish this in 3 months. And I think like it's a fun game. I would like to finish it because it's a fun game. It is not my favorite campaign game I have ever played. It is a bit like, for me, the things they have done to make it shorter also makes it a little bit less interesting, but I enjoy my time playing it. I would like to continue playing it, and I would like to, for now, keep it, so not like give that thought away, but I would enjoy playing it. I'm going to land on a 7.5 as well.
Cool.
I enjoy my time with it, but it's not my favorite game in this genre. And that's going to be the end. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.